All right, I'm finally going to sit down and do a little artwork here. I'm going to try and make it quick. I wanted to do like a little video a day kind of thing, but obviously that's not working out with my lifestyle. So I'm just going to do a little video, little art here. I got some orange paint in a cup, and I got like a little sponge applicator. Don't ask me where to get these. Somebody donated these to me. And this is a piece of plastic, and it was part of a kind of a filter, I think, like an air conditioning filter or something. Anyway, find these things where you can. I'm just going to set it down there. And I'm going to, so these are going to be kind of like bendy dots. I got some more paint on here, but I don't want it to be globby, so I'm going to wipe a little bit off on the newspaper there. So as I'm doing this, let me tell you a little bit about my mindset. Lately I've been looking at a lot of Instagram, and I've been looking at a lot of abstract art, non-objective art. And I mean, this is really, I've been doing this a lot lately, recently, is what brought this back up, but I've seen it a lot in my life. And I've always just kind of been a big fan of content on a page. I don't know another way to say it. It doesn't even have to make sense. I just like to see the page kind of filled with information. There's my dots. And I'm going to do both sides here. I actually kind of have a plan in my mind, and you're going to have to wait and see how that plan goes, how that plan unfolds. So part of the plan is to not overthink it too much. I just want to put information on the page, okay? And I know a lot about what happens when you put paint on a page. I know what happens when you have too much paint, it takes a long time for it to dry, or there's bumps, or that sort of thing. And so that does have a little bit to do with why I do certain things. Like I want this to be thin so it'll dry real fast, and so I can keep on moving. I don't want to have to like wait on it to dry, although I probably will. Probably have to wait a few minutes. Acrylic paint dries pretty fast. So, but I just wanted like a layer of bendy dots, and I'm going to do two different things right here, like the same subject matter. I've got a, what do you call it, cassette tape in mind that I want to do, and I'm going to do it two different ways, and I'm going to work these bendy dots into it. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I think they're bendy, like B-E-N-D-I dots. Somebody else can comment down below whether that's the right terminology or not. All right. We're going to let that dry and come back in just a moment. All right, it's not really dry yet, but I'm going to go ahead and keep on moving. I got this little bag from a restaurant. It had their silverware and napkins in it. And by putting this in here, I'm actually sort of like recording the fact that I went to this restaurant the other day, which is kind of a cool thing, I think. It's like a record of my life. And it's more content, you know, like it's more stuff that I'm putting on the paper. I'm filling this page. If it makes sense when I'm done, great. If it doesn't make any sense, as long as it's pretty to look at, I think that's okay. I have another sort of philosophical way to look at this or think about it or talk about it, and I would like to know down in the comments below what you think about what I'm about to say here. If I'm just continuously putting stuff on here for no other reason other than to just put stuff on here, is that okay? Or does it need to have some reason? And I mean, I know it, or I don't think it has to have like a really deep, fundamental, like theological or moral or social reason for this, but does it have to have something? I'm just gonna fold that on around. That'll be part of whatever my next picture is. That'll be some content for the next page. Look at that. This one, on the other hand, is a little bit more difficult because I've got stuff here already. This is my cassette tape that I'm thinking about doing on this next page. Let me get a pair of scissors. All right, so I'm just going to cut this on the edge. I'll do a better job of cutting it later. Maybe use an X-Acto knife or something to kind of clean that edge up. But that kind of gets me started. All right, now, still don't think all of this is dry. And I'm not terribly excited about the way these bendy dots turned out. I don't think this was the best applicator. Might have been better if I spray painted it first, maybe. I don't know. But it is what it is, and I'm going to be accepting of that. I'm going to go with it. They're still sort of uniform in pattern, even if not in solidity. Solidity, is that a word? Solidity? I don't know. All right, hold on a minute. Let's give it a chance to dry. Okay, so since I started on this side, these are dry. These still need a little bit of time. I'm going to go ahead and start drawing on this page. And I've got a 03 Pigma Micron, and I'm just going to dive right in and start drawing. The trick here is to ignore everything. Try and forget that that's there. At least for me anyway, for what I'm trying to do. I'm just going to ignore everything that's here and just draw without letting all of that stuff get in my way. Now, I have not measured or looked at a reference very well for any of this stuff. I'm really just kind of playing it by memory. This is how I remember a cassette tape looking. if you aren't very familiar with something, I highly recommend looking at it in order to do this. And I might not be familiar enough with a cassette tape, but I think I am, to get the majority of the important details. By the way, I am kind of inspired by these that I got from a restaurant called Rockin' Dough. It's a pizza restaurant, and this is sort of my reference photo, if you want to call it that. Now that I know that's there, I really like using it. Sometimes when I draw, I get really into it, and I stop thinking about, or I stop talking, because I'm thinking. So, pardon the awkward silences. There you go. You can see it up close. I am going to set this down for a minute. I got some other stuff I need to do, and I will come back to it in a little bit. All right, I'm back. What was I saying? I forgot. All I know is I was working on this cassette tape. Now, this I can't talk. This cassette tape, I'm going to do 2 of them, and I'm going to kind of reverse the way that I do them. You'll sort of see what I'm talking about in just a minute. Bear with me. I feel like there was something important that I was talking about before I left, and I'm not sure if I ever got around to it. Not sure if I ever got around to the point. I apologize. This video may be a little inconsistent. I'm sorry. I don't have anything to say all of a sudden. I am out of words. Some of you who know me are like, wait, did you just say you were out of words? That can't be true. I have the door open to my porch, so you can probably hear somebody trying to start their car out there. It sounds like they got it. These don't exactly have to look just alike, but like I said, this is kind of the cassette tape that was in my brain. And so I'm just going with it. There's a lot of different cassette tapes. Some of you youngins out there are going, cassette tape? What's a cassette tape? Dude, this is what we used to listen to our music on. Raise your hand if you used to listen to music on a cassette tape. All right, so that is part one. I'm not done. Don't turn off the video yet. Don't jump out. I'm still working, still video going on. I just got to go get some materials. I'll be right back. All right, now this one is going to be kind of easy. I am going to kind of let the bendy dots do the talking, and all I'm going to do is sort of X out the background just a little bit to make it stand out. So I've just got a little bit of white paint, and I'm going to go around the positive space. I'm only painting in the negative space. And that way, the bendy dots don't get covered up inside. By the way, this is all just kind of me playing, all right? I don't really have a big style right now. I used to do some of the same stuff, very similar. I had kind of a path that I was on. I've talked about this in some other videos. Right now, I'm just trying to play and figure out what looks good and what doesn't look good. And I've seen some ideas that I like. And I'm just kind of seeing what happens when I do those things. Imagine this for just a moment. Imagine somebody writes down, I don't know, the word paint. And you're like, oh, cool. Let me write down the word paint too. There would be some similarities in the way that you, in that you both wrote the word paint, but there would also be some differences. Your handwriting does not look like their handwriting, right? And so unless you were trying to forge their handwriting, it's just not going to be the same. Maybe they do theirs in cursive. Maybe you do yours in print. All right, by the way, I'm just kind of getting a little bit crazy with it right here. I don't want an outline around it. I don't know why. I just don't. Sorry, I got off track. So if I wrote, maybe they wrote paint in cursive and I write it in print. And then take that a step further. You know, maybe I write a story about someone who, I've been watching a lot of murder mysteries lately, so please don't think of this too creepy, but imagine you're writing a story about someone who killed someone and the police are investigating it, right? Well, I mean, so many people have done that. There's no patent on the murder mystery. Everybody that writes a murder mystery writes it a little bit different, has a little bit of different take on it. Even if we kind of gave everybody the same plot and gave a lot of specifics, it would be changed up a whole lot. All right, so I kind of fill that in a little bit right there. And I also need to do the middle where it's transparent right here. And right here. I'm also going to go ahead and do this part because that's transparent. Even though there's a clear thing usually there so you can look into it, but nothing goes into it. Like you don't get dust and debris in there. It has like a little window, but it's transparent so you can see all the way through. There we go. All right. Now, that is cassette tape number 1. This one is going to be quite a bit different. This one, I'm going to do the inside. And I'm going to paint it more, I wouldn't say realistically, but more realistically. I'm not going to paint it so that it looks like a very realistic cassette tape, but I'm not going to spend hours on photorealism. But I'm basically doing the opposite here of what I did there. Here I painted in the outside. I painted the outside, the negative space, and here I'm going to paint the positive space. And there's really a little bit more work involved in painting the positive space because I do want to paint what's black and what's white. I'm just kind of doing the label white. I didn't really think much about what color the label really would be or should be. Which I probably could. All right. I do need to wrap this up because I do have some more places to go. But I'm going to paint this the outside of this thing black, the outer edge. So I know that some of you are old enough to have used cassette tapes when you were young. And so I'm curious, like, what is the most generic cassette tape in your mind look like? what is they were really made in all sorts of ways, you know, like some were black and some were clear and some were green and some were blue. There's not really a set cassette tape. But if there was, what does yours look like? This is not actually mine, I don't think. I mean, I do remember a lot of black cassette tapes. With labels on them like this. But a lot of the cassette tapes that I had were mixed tapes or blank tapes that you could put stuff on. That was the door closing, and it scared the pain out of me. Scared me so bad I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, I had a lot of blank cassette tapes, and they were usually clear, which was kind of neat. You could see all of the tape, like all of this was clear, and I don't know. There was usually like just one piece right here that was the label. I need to get a smaller brush. Oh yeah, and when they were clear, this middle part was usually black, if I remember. Like I said, there were all different kinds, and I probably shouldn't even try and pin it down to one particular appearance. What was your first cassette tape? What was your favorite cassette tape? Did you ever make a mixtape for a girlfriend or boyfriend? What songs were on that mixtape and why? Just curious about these things. If you feel like leaving them in the comments down below, that would be pretty cool. I'd like to hear it. I'll put a little, you know what? I'm going to simplify this. This is my picture and do it my way. I'm going to use a black paper. Oh no, that's a huge black paint pen. It might work. It didn't work as thin as I wanted it to be thinner. So that's all right. It still can be thinner. All right, I also need, you know what? I have a silver paint pen. This is a Pen Touch, quick dry, permanent opaque, silver by Sakura. And I'm going to put a screw right there, a screw right there, a screw right there, right there, and right there. For those of y'all that don't know, for those of y'all too young to know, they had screws a lot of times that held them together. One in each corner. and one in the middle. Maybe not in that exact location. I'm going to use a gel pen, if possible, to put some of these details back in. Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe the gel pen was made for drawing on top of acrylic paint. I cannot, can't tell you how many times drawn on surfaces with this gel pen that it doesn't work. And it just worked almost perfectly, and I spoke too soon because now it's not working like it was. Things keep making noises in here. I'm like the only person in the building, I think. You know how creepy that is. All right, I've got the cassette tape. I've got the blank spot. When that dries, oh, I messed that up. Look how bad that is. It's all right, I have some black paint right here. I thought it was going to be dry. The tape inside these things, it's not really black. It's more of a, I don't know, green or a brown, I think. Actually, I think sometimes they were printed on colored tape so that they look cool. But I think most of the time they just kind of appeared to be black from the side. So I'm going to go ahead and paint these in black. And then I will define them in a minute with this jelly roll. I'm also going to come back in here and put a little bit of white paint where I should have earlier. All right, jelly roll. All right, am I missing anything? I want to put little X's on those spots to make them look like screws. Don't feel like this shows up very well. I've got the inside done. Don't have much of the inside here done. But I don't want to take away from the bendy dots too much. I could paint the cassette tape black and leave the label for where the bendy dots show up. I could make this another color because like here it's got these stripes and stuff on it. Or I could use another size Sharpie to define this a little bit better. could also use like a ruler. Let's just do this right here first. So on the label there would usually be lines so you could write stuff. So we're going to draw a few lines here. And what else? I probably ought to look up a cassette tape. I think I'm going to put more details on this. I should probably just paint this in with the acrylic paint like I did that one. But for some reason, I went Sharpie marker on it, didn't I? I hope you can hear me. Like, I know I'm mumbling. I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, and so this becomes kind of a mumble. I hope you're enjoying watching these videos as much as I'm enjoying drawing and painting and doodling in my sketchbook. Let's turn this around so I can get to it. Remember I said this was just playing, right? And so that's a good reason to do both Sharpie and paint. I can see what works better. I can see what I like to use better. I can find out how much I like to use all of it, right? Maybe I never go back to using the same materials. Like, I never go back to just using acrylic paint, or I never go back to just using pencil. This is, whatever I'm drawing on here is killing my marker. Like, sometimes it wants to work, and sometimes it's like it's being stopped up. I don't know if it's the paint. Or what? had another idea just a second ago. If I can find the right utensil. I like to keep these like gift cards around, and sometimes I cut like little teeth into them so that I can drag it through the paint and make neat little designs with them, whatever, and I cut the teeth different sizes sometimes. It's a whole nother video. Right now I'm just going to use the flat edge for what I'm doing. Some of you have, what do you call it, palette knives for this sort of thing. I'm going to cover up a little bit more of the bendy dots on the outside by using my card as like a palette knife. This would be a little bit easier on a more stable surface than my sketchbook. I like the way that looks right there, scraped. So there we go. The 2 cassette tapes. All right. I like the way that looks. I do think I need a little bit of this white Posca pen here to define some of this a little bit better. Those need to be silver. If I'm not careful, I'm going to get away from my original idea, which was to have just the positive space, bendy dots in the background, paint over the background only. I'm not sure if what I'm saying is coming out right. You understand what I'm saying here? Are you getting this? All right, let's leave it as it is. Nope. Wait, yeah. Nope, yep, nope. Yeah, we're gonna leave it like this. I was thinking about, I've got a pink paint pen, and I was thinking about doing some pink on the label here. But if I do that, I'm gonna need to put some pink over here somewhere, and I'm gonna start working it too much, and it's not gonna be good. So we're gonna leave it alone. That is it, my friends. All right, so closing thoughts. These are just me playing in my sketchbook. And I'm going to be doing a altered book thing with my students. And these could also be, this is the sort of thing that should go in an altered book, I think, you know. A lot of times I don't like to leave a space like this, but for some reason, this is part of my plan. I like to put a lot of content on the paper, but I think there's enough content here, and those blank spaces kind of frame it in a little bit. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Oh, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below.